The following podcast may contain adult language and an abundance of atomic breath. So get ready, nerds, because we're talking the legendary monster universe. All right, guys, today we're going to be discussing the legendary monster universe, Godzilla, the 2014 movie, then Kong, Skull Island, and then Godzilla, King of the Monsters. And I am joined, as always, by my fantastic panel of nerds, starting with Matt Vader.
Got whiskey breath.
It is atomic, huh? My tongue's all tingly.
I wish I had a match right now. Yeah,
that'd be dope. Oh my God, if you could do that, that'd be so awesome.
How Katie's house is on fire. That man melts.
It's all for the pod. I'm also joined by Jude, our ambassador of estrogen. Welcome.
Hi.
You ready to talk about some monsters?
Yeah.
I'm so stoked. This was so much fun.
I've been so excited for this week.
This is such a fun week.
I'm actually finishing my notes right now because I got too into the movie again.
Damn it, good movie. I'm also joined by Matthew Kadish.
Damn it, good movie. Last you movie.
Last you movie. How dare you be good? All right, guys. Before we get into this, we're going to have a quick break so we can have a word for our sponsors, and then we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Okay, if you guys would like to support this podcast because you love our content so much, go to saltynerdclub.com. There you can join our Patreon team, and you will get access to all kinds of super cool extra stuff like blooper reels, which are, trust me, they're worth the money. We say some wild shit, and we put it all in the blooper reel. So
it's mostly just Salty looking at himself fondly.
I'm a handsome man, though, dude. The beard looks good. We also do behind-the-scenes photos, and you guys get direct contact with the hosts of the podcast in our group chats, in our Discord servers, and all kinds of cool exclusive access. And you'll have the company of a lot of awesome people. Shout out to our newest patron, 97 Bravo, over there on Twitter. He just joined our Patreon tier, so thank you very much, sir. Appreciate the support. All right, Lo, let's get into this. The first movie on our list is the 2014 Gareth Edwards movie, Godzilla. Take it away, Jude. What do we got?
Godzilla. Okay. 2014 Godzilla, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 2 hours, 3 minutes, had a budget of $160 million.
Wow.
What do you think this brought into the box?
$245 million.
Vader?
I'll go 270.
Now, boys, this is a worldwide gross.
Oh, 412.
Oh, it's not domestic? Is it? Oh, cool.
It's not domestic.
we gotta think about Asia. They love these movies.
Oh my God, do they?
I'm gonna go like 450.
Okay.
Okay, so worldwide, I'll say 325.
$525 million.
That's awesome. Oh, I'm so happy.
Here is the synopsis.
Go for it.
A bat spider crab, cousin to the bat rat spider crab, is just trying to make a love match, but Gojira hates happy endings.
Godzilla.
Wanda Maximoff is married to her twin brother Pietro, and their dad is Heisenberg, and they have a very agreeable little boy. They must escape San Francisco and defuse bombs and survive. Godzilla. Pretty good, huh?
That was a really great synopsis. Yeah, what's up?
Scarlet Witch is the wife?
Yeah.
Why did I not know this?
That's Elizabeth Olsen.
I've seen this movie like a dozen times, and I never even really thought about it.
Yeah. And Quicksilver is her husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so weird, dude.
Okay, so I'll say what I like about this movie.
Now, before you get into this,
oh boy,
yeah, that's
Alex, you made us watch the original American Godzilla.
Yeah, 1998 with
1998 or 1997 Godzilla, because you love that movie.
I do. It's such a guilty pleasure of mine.
Yeah. So I just wanted everyone out there in the interwebs to know that one of your favorite movies is 1998's Godzilla.
I have a soft spot in my heart for that movie. Honestly, I mean, come on, guys. You guys know I'm super into like dinosaurs and stuff. So you put any CGI monster on the screen, I'm in.
Okay, well, that
movie's basically Jurassic Park. So
that movie has a pregnant iguana.
Okay, look,
in it, okay?
We're not talking about the 1998.
So let's talk.
We're talking about this movie.
Yes.
I love that they went back to the original design of Godzilla in this movie. This set up like such a fun universe for me. This whole company, Monarch, they're tracking down all these giant monsters. I think visually this movie was a ton of fun. I know it gets a lot of criticism for like not showing the actual fights. It's all done based off of the human perspective where they're like looking through windows and you can only see like feet and stuff. I get it. I can understand why that's aggravating, but for me, it just kind of like, it grounds it in a reality to me where I can like, I feel like I'm one of those tiny little people watching these.
I actually think that's like the best part of this movie is that not necessarily the human story, but like the human perspective, because it gives us such a sense of scale of like what the destruction that's happening and how big these titans are.
Yeah.
And I always felt like, you know, Gareth Edwards was basically pulling a Spielberg in Jaws, and like he wasn't showing you the monster right away. He was building up to it. And then like when you finally see Godzilla in all his glory, you're just like,
oh gosh, crap. Yeah.
This is, I mean, I do like the 98 Godzilla, but this version, when they reveal the full size Godzilla and it like the music just cuts out and all you hear is just like that. I don't know. How do they make those sound designs where they like, they make things, they make things feel bigger just from sound. It's like,
well, that's good.
It's so
that's good movie making.
It's so freaking cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna geek out about these movies, I feel like. Jude, what did you think about this first movie?
I loved this movie. This was a first watch for me.
Oh, cool.
And not to yuck your yum or anything, but like after the, what was it, 98, 99 Godzilla, I was just kind of like, I'm done. But so this was a first watch for me, and I loved every part of it. I loved the story, like the history of this boy, and then he grows up and then he marries his sister. What I didn't like in the other two movies that we're going to talk about was the human aspect of it. And the humans all got on my nerves for each of the other movies, but that didn't happen with this one. With this one, I was invested in the story, and like I love a good monster fight, and the monsters were awesome for me. So I this is my favorite. I loved this movie.
Cool. Vader, what about you?
I love this movie for the exact opposite reason that she likes it.
Oh, why is that?
Because I could give zero craps about the humans in these movies. In any of these movies, I don't care. They can all die.
Yeah.
I don't care. I watch these movies for the spectacle.
Okay.
And for the giant skyscraper-sized monsters.
So it's just brain off.
Brain off.
Watch movie.
Fun, engaged, and let's go. Let's have some fun for a couple hours. Yeah.
Nice.
I love these things. I love them all.
What did you guys think? So I know, Jude, this is a first watch for you, but for me, like looking forward to this movie when it first came out, the advertisements were all like Bryan Cranston. He's hot off of Breaking Bad. Bryan Cranston's in the new Godzilla movie. And I was like, oh my freaking God, Heisenberg's in the goddamn Godzilla movie. Yeah. I can't wait. And then like 20, 30 minutes in, they just kill him off. So I felt like I got hoodwinked a little bit, and I'm like, oh man, come on, bro. Did you, because you weren't like into the advertisements for this movie, did you feel that way, or were you into it like it was just part of the story?
Well, I knew who was like starring in this movie, so I was surprised when they killed the wife off like immediately.
Oh, it was heartbreaking though.
And don't misunderstand me, Vader. Like I don't like this movie because of the humans. I just don't mind the humans in this one.
No,
it's a monster movie.
I get it that we need some human stories to kind of relate to people and everything, but that's not why I watch these movies.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes them a little more palatable to the general audience, I guess, but it's just, I don't need it. I could take 2 hours of watching,
well, everything that happened
Vader. I could take 2 hours of King Kong or Godzilla just rampaging through.
I could take 2 hours of Darth Vader fighting Godzilla.
Models of cities. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Well, everything that happened with the humans in this movie was believable, and it didn't infuriate me.
Yeah.
Like, Bryan Cranston is upset that his wife died, and he wants to get to the real reason why. I bought it. The son is just like, oh, my dad's crazy, but now I'm in the military. Oh, my dad's in trouble. I got to go help him. I bought it. The wife is like trying to juggle being a mom with no dad because he's in the military, and she's also a nurse, and she's got to save these people, and she's also got to take care of her kid. I bought it. Like there was nothing in this that made me go, oh, come on, with the humans. And it allowed me to enjoy the monster fight that much more.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy, like, I'm a techie geek when it comes to these kind of movies. Like this, I already talked about the sound design a little bit, but even with Godzilla, when he has that like amp up, you know, like wom, 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 and it goes up to his back, and then he has the atomic breath. Such a great reveal, such a great way of doing that. The other thing too is the MUTOS. How do you say that?
MUTOS.
MUTOS. Okay, the MUTOS. The thing I really like is you could call them bat, rat, spider crabs. That's hilarious. It's very close.
You should have worn that shirt today, kid.
I know, that would have been dope. No, but like even their sound design when they're like doing their little clicky noises and stuff, just like when you sit in the theater, I saw this movie in the theaters, and when that surround sound kicks in and you hear like, and you're just like, oh,
super creepy.
Yeah, super creepy, really eerie feeling. I love the sound design of this movie. It really sells the universe. And it, like Jude said, even though you might not care about all the characters are very grounded in reality. And you're kind of like, yeah, I get it. I could see somebody going through this.
At least in the first
one.
Yes.
First couple movies.
Yeah.
Just this one.
Yeah, just this one.
Yeah.
I really liked how they opened this movie, where it's basically, you know, our main character is a kid. And we see Bryan Cranston and his wife, played by Juliette Binoche. Is that correct? And they live in Japan, and they work at the nuclear power plant there. And like the whole, like Godzilla doesn't show up until like an hour into this movie.
Yeah.
But you know, we see that there's this buildup to some creature is going to this nuclear power plant, and we see like the nuclear disaster that happens. And you know, we watch Bryan Cranston lose his wife that he loves dearly. And it's such a heartbreaking opening to this movie. And this is the type of human story that you can really get invested in. And I think that's one of the reasons why the human aspect of this movie works so well as opposed to the future ones, because you actually care about the characters and there's actual real motivation for them to be involved. Alex, you kind of briefly talked about how you felt cheated that Bryan Cranston kind of died, you know, a third of the way through the movie. And when I saw this in the theater, I felt the exact same way. I was like, they killed off Bryan Cranston. He was like the most interesting character in this movie.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to have seen him like, you know, kind of continue on throughout the movie and maybe make a sacrifice towards the end of the film. But I also think it had to do with the fact that like he was still shooting Breaking Bad at this point, and you can tell by the terrible wigs he's wearing.
He's still bald.
Yeah. But I think that he only had like a certain amount of time that he was available to shoot. And so they just had to like knock his stuff out and then get rid of him. But Gareth Edwards directed this movie. For those of you who might not be familiar with him, he's the guy who directed Star Wars Rogue One, Star Wars story.
The best of the new Disney era.
And you can kind of tell like through like the like just the way that the aesthetic of this movie, because Rogue One kind of shares a lot of similarities with this. And Gareth Edwards had only directed one other movie before this, which was I think called Monsters. And it was very similar in the sense that like Monsters had kind of taken over this area in Mexico that separated the United States and Mexico. And it's a story about people traveling through that area. And it's very, you know, from the ground up, you see like the scale of these monsters. I think that's one of the reasons why they chose it for this.
I want to watch it. I haven't seen it either. I've heard a lot about it, and I know I'm a big fan of Gareth Edwards because, like Kadish was pointing out, like the way that this dude kind of harkens back to the classic IPs that he's working with. I feel like he has a lot of respect for him. Like with Rogue One by far feels more like Star Wars than any of the new Disney trilogy stuff.
The thing about that is I think that was more Tony Gilroy than Gareth Edwards. But
with Rogue One?
Yeah.
As far as the story goes, I will agree with you. I mean, visually, because I know Gareth Edwards was very involved in
Tony Gilroy directed the entire last act of Rogue
I know, but I'm saying just the aesthetics of how they made Rogue One feel like it was based in the original trilogy.
The things I like about these movies is that they really don't look fake. They don't they don't look like they were made on a big soundstage with scale size models for humans in monkey suits to go through and stomp on it. You know?
The use of CGI is
it's incredible.
It's incredible in these new movies.
Like, man, it's like when they get to the end of this and they destroy San Francisco, it looks like they're in San Francisco.
You want to talk about our favorite part?
Yeah, go for it.
Where they destroy Las Vegas.
yeah.
I mean, because we live in Las Vegas, we constantly fantasize about destroying this.
We're
And
like,
also,
God.
it's just fun to be like, oh, That's not right.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, that's the freaking Caesar's Palace. And he just like smushes it. I'm like, yes, that's awesome. They're all in there like with the slot machines. And then all of a sudden the freaking wall caves in.
Yeah.
There's a giant monster hanging outside.
And
It's
then,
cool.
And then they all run and try to get the money from the spilled slot machine.
Of course they would.
That's pretty accurate.
That's very accurate.
You know, a lot of people would have just kept on playing. It's like, whatever.
I got to get my
Keep pushing the button.
gotta get my jackpot.
Gotta get my points.
I wonder if the company will comp me for this. No, this movie is just a ton of fun
one
from
of the
start to finish.
things that is very interesting about this film, and this was completely Gareth Edwards, but also it was a lot because they're setting up this MonsterVerse with this movie. Because it was kind of interesting that Legendary Entertainment, the production company behind this film, they were, their whole pitch was that they want to create this like MonsterVerse. And one of the difficult things was that the King Kong rights were tied up with Universal. And so like they somehow managed to get Universal to agree to work with Warner Brothers to bring Godzilla and King Kong and this whole concept of the MonsterVerse together. And when Gareth Edwards came on board, he had this kind of idea that Godzilla is kind of like the last samurai. He's this lone warrior who doesn't want to fight or anything like that, but he gets called into action when stuff goes sideways. And so he's forced to come in and have like, these battles. And then after he wins, he goes and fucks off and waits until like, he's needed again. And I always thought that was kind of a very interesting concept for Godzilla because it really does make him like the hero of these movies that he's in, as opposed to like originally Godzilla, and especially in the 1998 one, Godzilla's the antagonist. He's the one that the humans are fighting against. But in this one, the humans are like they realize that they have no chance to defeat these monsters. And so like they're basically Godzilla's pets. And they're like, we have to choose someone to side with. So we're going to side with Godzilla. And there's that great scene in this movie where Ken Watanabe, who is up there with Bryan Cranston in terms of acting ability and stuff. He's just so badass. I love him.
Yeah. Let them fight.
Yeah. He's just there and he's like, Alex,
let them fight. Yeah. So freaking good.
It's like, let them fight. And that's like
goosebumps.
One of my favorite memes on Twitter where I just get the GIF. Let them fight.
Let them go. Yeah.
So since we're, okay, again, I'm going to go back to the visuals because I'm going to move to the end of the movie when Godzilla's in San Francisco and they're fighting the MUTOS. MUTOS. That scene where they like
bat spider crab.
The bat rat spider crab. When they halo jump into the city.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Iconic.
It's so freaking beautiful.
Yeah. There's a lot of really awesome.
It's a painting.
Beautiful shots.
Amazing visuals.
Yeah. Like put that on a canvas behind me and just have it as like a freaking.
I mean, I love it. That's what I like about all these movies. I mean, you guys know me. I like visual movies. Give me something for my eyes to be happy with, and I'm probably going to be okay. And all of these movies in this in this universe pay off for me in that way.
Yeah,
and I love them. Yeah, they're just fun.
What did you guys think about that ending fight with when they actually reveal full size Godzilla and he's fighting these two bat rat spider crabs?
It's incredible.
Yeah. What did you think, Jude?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I love a monster fight.
Right on.
Give me more monster fights.
Cool. Kadish, I feel like this is a little oversimplified. We're just like, yes, give me more.
I love the kiss of death thing where Godzilla opens the MUTO's mouth and he just blows his atomic breath.
Yeah.
And
It's just like
like I said, the real star of these movies is always the monster fights. The bigger the monster fights, the better. The weakness is always the human element. Like one of the things that when I was watching this movie, I started rolling my eyes was the military's plan. They're like, we're going to take a nuclear bomb and we're going to use it to lure them out into the open. Then we're going to detonate it. And like the scientists are all there like, they eat radiation. Why would you do that? And the military's like, we like to blow stuff up.
Yeah, because bombs, that's all we know how to do. Blow it up.
Just the scenes in this movie that just like when he's coming into San Francisco into the water and the ships are all like falling off of his back and everything. And you get the scope of how big he is.
And those people are on the beach and you see the water recede.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like,
oh, in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And you're just like, holy crap. I mean, this is
the death toll.
Man. Oh, well, yeah, that's the other thing about all these movies. Millions of people are dead. And it's never mentioned. It's just it is what it is.
Whatever.
It's just like, who cares?
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
No.
And it's just
it's really sad
but there's this great shot where Elizabeth Olsen's character is running into like a shelter, and as the doors are closing, they cut to like Godzilla, and he's like doing his roar just as the doors close on him, and like you get this real sense of like, oh crap.
Yeah,
And you know, it's funny because in the movie Pacific Rim, they had something very similar to that, where everyone was running to a shelter during like the big kaiju fight. And it was not nearly as impactful as that moment in this movie.
Yeah. Another thing that I really like about this movie, especially as an introduction to the new Godzilla, you know, the updated Godzilla, is like, I feel like he has way more of a personality than he used to. And especially in the 98 Godzilla, he's just an animal. Like they say that multiple times. It's just an iguana. You say that to me all the time. Yeah. It's not really Godzilla. It's just a giant iguana. This one is, no. This one, he has a presence, a personality to him, especially when they zoom in on his face and he does like the eyebrow thing once in a while. And he has like this little like smirk, like I'm about to kick your ass. And I'm like, yes.
And he's all like scarred up. Like, you get the sense that he's been doing this for like,
thousands
a good long time. Yeah, I dig it, man. I love the personality of Godzilla in these movies. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I also liked how they introduced the concept of Monarch by showing like all this footage to Aaron Taylor Thomas, and they're like, you know, we said these were nuclear tests, but we were really trying to kill Godzilla.
Yeah, all of these movies. I could watch the first 5 minutes of the opening credits for these movies as their own show.
Oh gosh,
because you need to pay attention.
Yeah.
To watch these movies because they tell you a story
of
what's going on. And then if you watch a movie the first time and then go back and rewatch it, you're like, oh, that's what they meant. Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Seven by David Fincher?
Mm-hmm.
So the same guy who did the opening credits for that did the opening credits for both Godzilla movies.
That makes so much sense now. I get it. Yeah, I love the little conspiracy theory seed that is like a common thread through all these movies. It just like it hits me right here. I love it.
And I love how they take like actual videos and insert stuff like the Bikini Atoll nuclear tests. Those are like those we've all seen those videos, right?
Yeah.
Where they blow up the ships and everything. But then they put those same ones in there we've all seen, and you can see like Godzilla's spine ridge come over the top of it. You're like, oh, well, how did they put that in there? That's pretty cool. Yeah, just stuff like that. I love that.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Well, another interesting little factoid about this movie is that both David S. Goyer and Frank Darabont did rewrites on the first inclination of the script, Incarnation. And so like David S. Goyer, he wrote all the Dark Knight movies with Christopher Nolan, did the Blade movies. I don't really like him all that much. I think he's a bit of a hack, but that's just my personal opinion. And Frank Darabont, you know, he did The Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption, The Walking Dead, at least the first season. And he's a well-known script doctor. And so like their DNA is kind of like in this movie, whereas in the other Monsterverse movies, they had nothing to do with it. So it's kind of interesting how this movie is kind of unique amongst the next three that we got.
And that's a good segue kind of for criticism. So is there anything in this first movie, in the 2014 Godzilla, that you guys didn't like? Is there some, like Kadish mentioned that he kind of rolled his eyes a couple times. Is there anything in this movie that made you roll your eyes, Vader? As far as the character motivations or just physics? No, you were in, huh?
I'm all in on these. I love these movies.
I wish I could be you.
You know, I mean, like I said earlier, I'm kind of disinterested in some of the human drama crap. You know, for these kind of movies, I don't need my wife died and I need all this inspiration and stuff for why I'm doing this and stuff. You know, it's just like throw some humans in, like in King of Monsters, where they're flying around in a big ship, and I don't give a shit who dies. I don't care about the humans in these movies. I do not.
Yeah.
And that's really it. It's just like,
it doesn't bother you at all that they didn't really reveal like the big monster fight until the very, very end. Like
well, you kind of expect that in the first one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool.
But I would have liked to have seen more.
I the only time that I kind of got irritated with that style of this movie was in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Because at that point, we're like probably close to halfway through the movie. I was ready for a monster fight. And they cut away to it, and you see it on the news footage, and you're like, God damn it, I want to see that.
Well, they did that to get that reaction out of you.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah. Jude, do you have any criticisms for this movie? Is there anything that you didn't like about it?
Not much. The only things that I didn't like were Bryan Cranston's wig. And then when they go back to their house and it's been like 15 years later and it's like all overgrown and it's like tropical and shit. And like that, well, happy birthday dad sign is still up. I was like, oh, bullshit.
That is super nitpicky.
I know, it's really nitpicky, which is.
Yeah, when we were watching it, she'd have been like, that thing would have fallen down in like 3 weeks.
Yeah. But that goes to say, like, this is a great movie. I only have super nitpicky things to say about it. Otherwise, I loved it. It was great. Like I said, it was my favorite movie that we watched this week.
Right on. Katie, do you have any criticisms?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I bet.
but I mean, like, I kind of already went over them where I feel like, they killed off the most interesting character too early. The military was kind of like
dumb.
And these movies, the story is really just an excuse to get the monsters to fight each other. And that's really what everyone enjoys and wants to see. And in that respect, like, I think this movie did a really good job in the sense that, I liked the slow build up to like the big monster fight. I know some people criticize that. They're like, we want to see more of that. And that's understandable. But I like the slow burn and the build up.
Yeah, I mean, if we'd gotten to the third movie and we didn't see Godzilla till the last 30 minutes, then I'd be upset.
Yeah.
But
this was setting up like a whole new Godzilla. It was setting up a lot of like of the foundations for the Monsterverse going forward. And I just, like they had to establish Godzilla as like a good guy. And, like I think that this movie did everything that it needed to do going forward. And honestly, like my criticisms of it are pretty minor. Like, would I have written it differently personally? Yeah, probably. But for what it is, it's good. I liked it. It's way better than the 98 one.
I will agree with you on that. I'm never going to tell you that the 98 Godzilla is good.
And what's funny is like the Toho executives, the Japanese company that owns the rights to Godzilla, they were so pissed off at Roland and Emmerich for what they did in 98. And when they saw the premiere of this movie, they came out of the theater like fist pumping and like they were so happy that they were like, these Americans, they finally got Godzilla right.
Yeah. He's got big freaking thick thighs. He's a big old boy. I dig it.
And Ken Watanabe, man, like
he's so good.
Every time he's on screen and anything he's in, like I'm like, give me more.
And I love him in the next movie too. He's awesome in the next movie. Okay, so real quick before we wrap it up, favorite moments. The moment that, like, when somebody says, "Oh, the 2014 Godzilla," what's the moment you think of?
Probably my favorite moment it's going to be when Las Vegas gets blasted. But my favorite Godzilla scene in this movie is probably at the very end, right before he walks out into the ocean like a boss, when he like flexes and puts his head up in the air and just roars that triumphant, "I'm here and you're not gonna fuck with me," kind of thing. Like, it's just like, yeah, Godzilla. It's like, yeah, I love it.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Right on. Jude, do you have a moment that like just struck you for your favorite moment for this movie?
I don't know. What I liked the most about this was like Kadish was saying, I think it was Kadish saying earlier, like in every Godzilla movie that we've had before, Godzilla is the villain. And in this one, he's the hero. So like when I realized that, I was like, that's cool. And I dug it.
Nice.
It's just a cool take on Godzilla.
Cool. Right on. Kadish, you have a favorite moment?
I have two favorite moments.
Oh, two. All right, go ahead.
First, you get one.
The first is the Halo jump.
Okay.
I felt that was probably the most like iconically visual shot from this movie, where they're basically jumping from this airplane and they got these like red flares that are leaving like a trail of red smoke behind them as like they're just heading like right into the middle of this shit show of a monster fight in the city.
That was in all the trailers, all the posters.
Yeah, because it was the
commercials.
Freaking most badass thing ever.
It was cool. Yeah.
yeah, it was beautiful. And the second one is the kiss of death, where Godzilla basically just like cracks open the MUTOS mouth and sends a shot of atomic breath right
that was pretty cool.
Right down their throat.
Yeah, for me, my favorite moment in this movie, this might be kind of generic. I think it's meant to be everybody's favorite moment, is when you know, the whole time you're kind of waiting, like, when's he going to do the atomic breath? When's he going to, you know, freaking spit fire? How's that going to look on screen with this modern technology? Because the last thing, like when I was growing up, Godzilla didn't spit fire because it was that stupid 98 movie. Yeah. It was like they just like half-assed it, but like I was so amped up and ready for it. And then when he's like, and you see the freaking blue spine go up his back and he's just freaking blasting. I was like, that's so freaking badass.
Yeah. Fun fact: this movie made more than Pacific Rim and Godzilla combined worldwide.
Awesome. Pacific Rim's good, but for me, this is better.
Pacific Rim is not good.
It's fun. I'm saying it's fun. I'm not saying it's good. Like
Pacific
good.
Rim is a massive guilty pleasure of mine. I love that movie.
I can't wait to talk about it with you. We shafted you the last time you wanted to talk about that movie.
I know.
It's almost been a year now. You imagine that? Since we did our monster movie. That was like in July or something.
Yeah, that was when we had to watch
98 Godzilla.
Freaking year's crappy Godzilla movie.
And Bat Rat Spider Crab.
And mall robots or some nonsense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Monsters and Robots.
Yeah.
It was Monsters and Robots week, and Alex chose Godzilla 98. Jude chose Chopping Mall.
It's a
and
classic.
I chose Bad Taste.
Oh, bad taste.
I'll never forgive you guys.
That was that episode.
And Vader was looking forward to
He was so excited, and we ruined it.
Yeah, he
for
was looking
him.
forward to. He was like, "We could watch Pacific Rim. We could watch this. We could watch that." And we're all like, "Nope."
We're gonna watch these.
I was literally like, "Fuck you guys! I'll do my own podcast." Okay. Probably should have done that.
A year later, buddy, we're finally here.
Yeah.
All right.
Look how far we've come.
I know, right? I think we kind of did favorite moments, final thoughts. You guys have anything to add to this?
We have to rate it.
Rate it. Okay, rating. Yeah, let's give it a rating.
3.5.
Solid.
Yeah.
Right on. Jude?
Yeah, same. 3.5 bat spider crabs.
Cool. Kadish, how about you?
I give it a solid 3 bad Cranston wigs.
Got it. Nice. Yeah, I'm with you guys. 3.5. It's better than right down the middle. It's just a notch above.
That's about where I think all these movies are going to end up kind of landing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Maybe we'll see.
All right. The next on our list is Kong Skull Island. But before we get there, we're going to take a quick break. Welcome back, listeners. All right, before we start talking about Kong Skull Island, if you would like to support the podcast and get some awesome swag in return, you can go to saltynerdstore.com. There we got this Salty Nerd t-shirt. It's awesome. It's right there. You can go saltynerdstore.com and get it and support the podcast. Also, you got Matt Vader 74's t-shirt that he's wearing right there. I think that's available on our store as well.
No, this is on my store.
And his store. You can go both stores. We stole it from him and we got it on our podcast.
What?
Yep, we stole your design, buddy. Sorry.
Well, Matt made it, so it's okay.
So if you'd like to support the podcast, you guys can get some cool stuff in return. You got stickers, magnets, face masks, all kinds of cool stuff over there on TeePublic. And any money that drizzles down to us goes directly back into the podcast so that we can, make more awesome content for you. All right, let's talk about Kong Skull Island, Jude. Mm-hmm. Take it away.
Before we talk about Skull Island, Skull.
Yes, during our break, we all got refills.
All right. 2017 Kong Skull Island. Rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour, 58 minutes. Had a budget of $185 million. What do you think?
$275.
Vader?
$325.
$566 million.
Wow. That's why they keep making these things.
That's awesome.
And here is the synopsis. Never judge a man by where he drinks, only by how he holds it. I cannot tell you how much I agree with that. So a bunch of curious assholes fly into an undiscovered island and immediately start shooting at the guy who lives there and get what they deserve. Nick Fury is a giant crazy person, and everything on this island is horrifying. Loki and Captain Marvel are the least crazy. And that's really saying something, because John C. Reilly has been stranded on Skull Island talking to himself for years.
That's a fantastic synopsis.
Thank you.
That's really good.
The best part of this movie is John C. Reilly.
Yes. Well, I don't know about best, but he is
okay, other than the monsters.
He's very charming.
These monsters are fucking nightmare.
They're
stuff.
terrifying.
Yes.
The freaking daddy long legs.
Wait, even the big cow thing? I thought that
The
was
big
kinda neat.
the water buffalo.
No, I called that Gentle Giant.
Yeah,
I was
he
like,
cool.
oh, Gentle Giant, are you okay?
The swamp cow.
But everything else was horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of those movies that Kadish was like, oh God, she won't stop talking. Because I was like, oh, I hate that guy. Oh, I hate them. Oh, they're being an asshole. Oh, why are they doing that?
So
oh, is he okay?
this is cool to me because it's technically a prequel to Godzilla movie, because this takes place during the 70s. And it also has characters that were there from World War II, which John C. Reilly was
1973, I believe.
Yeah, like mid,
The soundtrack was good.
Oh, well, yeah. Anytime the 70s rock is on point. Okay, so Vader, what are your opening thoughts? What did you think about Kong Skull Island?
I love this movie.
Really, love.
I love all these movies.
Yeah.
It's my reaction is similar to my reaction to all 4 of these Legendary movies. Is they're turn your brain off, popcorn movie fun, and that's the only way I approach these things, and I enjoy them.
I feel like out of the ones that we watched this week, this one is the least turn your brain off because of the setting. You can kind of like
this one you're just kind of like going through and you're like, what are they going to throw at us next?
Yeah.
Because unlike in the first movie where we just have, Godzilla and the MUTOS, this one, the script was wide open.
So many damn monsters in this thing.
And you're like, okay, this is kind of cool, and they introduced the Hollow Earth thing. They did. And it's just there's just a lot of backstory and history to what Monarch is kind of, and you get King Kong and what he's doing there, and
I like how in
it's just kind of
this version Monarch is kind of like the redheaded stepchild.
Like they're the laughing stock.
This is the
beginning of Monarch. Before they prove themselves. This is all theory up until now.
Like, you people are crazy.
Yeah, all you Monarch people. You want more money? Of course you do.
Monsters and whatever.
And John Goodman just wants to be like, I knew it.
Yeah.
So you're kind of rooting for him, but honestly, I hated all of the humans in this.
You hated all of the humans?
I hated this movie because Sam Jackson, and I love Sam Jackson, and I hated him in this movie, which made me hate this movie. Everything was terrifying. I was like, oh, spider's so good. There's a lot of spider. And I love Kong so much, and you're just rooting for him. And then Sam Jackson's like, I gotta kill him.
Well, I'm gonna kill him for what he did to my man.
I hate him. Just fucking get off the island and leave him alone.
Yeah, but he didn't have a reason to get off the island.
Sam Jackson?
No.
That's true, because from the beginning he didn't want to retire.
You needed to go back to his character at the beginning. War's over.
Yeah.
He had nothing to do after the war.
They were like, hey, plans. Would you mind? He was like, yep.
So,
do you want to go on this suicide mission? Yes.
Basically, yes. And, going back to the Monarch thing, it kind of dawned on me, why would they be having such a hard time getting funding for this stuff? Because the government knows Godzilla is real. Because they tried to kill him.
From the nuclear test from the 40s.
Test, yes. Which wasn't a nuclear test. It was a way to kill Godzilla.
Eisenhower started Monarch after those tests failed to kill Godzilla.
Right.
So that was the setup for it.
So you would think that they wouldn't have
to
go beg for money for an expedition.
Maybe it's so classified that a lot of people just don't believe in it.
It's like one of those things that they tell you about when you become president, but no one else can know.
It's like Operation Paperclip, before Operation Paperclip became a household name.
Like what's really been going on at Area 51.
Like, hey, did you know Nazis created NASA? Like, no. Everybody like, whatever, dude. Like, no, bro, it's real. But I love conspiracies. It's so freaking cool.
But that kind of stuff didn't take me out of it. It just kind of is a plot point to get the movie going, Yeah, man, I enjoy this movie. It's super fun, and I don't know what else to say about it.
Kadish, what are your opening thoughts for Kong Skull Island?
I like all the Marvel connections in these movies. So in Godzilla, you have Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, right? Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Is that his name? Jonathan.
No, it's not Jonathan Taylor.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Chi.
Yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen.
All the 90s girls just swooned.
and so like in this movie, so you have Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, you have Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, you have Tom Hiddleston, who's Loki, but you also have John C. Reilly, who was one of the Nova commanders in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And also you have Shea Wiggum, who was in Peggy Carter, or Captain Carter, Agent Carter.
That's pretty deep.
Oh.
Yeah, he was like one of the first Shield directors before, or whatever organization was pre-Shield. He was the guy who was in charge of the office that Peggy Carter worked in.
Nice.
Yeah, so like there's a lot of crossover between like the MCU and the Monsterverse.
Why is that? Is Legendary
it's not part of Disney, no.
Disney
Well, there's only 4 actors in the world.
I think it's just like the way a lot of these movies get made is that agents will bundle together people. So like I think that they just take them all. I mean,
the only reason I'm asking is because Star Wars and Star Trek and these other nerd IPs have been so disappointing lately.
They're very separate too.
That I've kind of like taken this world and this studio, and I'm kind of like making it my new.
Oh yeah.
Kind of.
It's your new phase.
It's kind of my new super nerd fandom.
Nice
kind of thing. Like if I go out and I'm gonna like go buy a stupid Funko Pop or something, I'm gonna buy a Godzilla one versus a Boba Fett one.
Are you guys gonna start nerding out over Jurassic Park stuff now?
That's
it's everything Alex wants.
Please, no.
Listen, I just need a friend.
I tried so hard not to nerd out about the helicopter in the opening scene of the first movie. That was clearly a Jurassic Park callback because it was blue and silver. It was the same model. I was like, if I mention that, you guys are gonna roll your eyes at me.
Where I was going is like if I found out that Legendary was a branch of Disney.
No.
I'd probably lose my mind.
In a bad way.
And if they buy it, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
Because it's just.
Legendary is their own production house. Yeah. Also, that guy right there, one of the helicopter pilots, he played Dr. Doom in Fan 4 Stick.
We don't. That movie doesn't exist.
No, you don't get that one. No.
But one of the things that was interesting about this is so the director of this movie, Jordan Vogt Roberts, something like that. So like his whole concept was that he wanted to do Vietnam with monsters. And that was like the basis for this movie going forward.
That sounds like a great movie.
Yeah, and they actually shot this whole movie in Vietnam, basically. Like Skull Island is Vietnam.
Nice.
And so like his whole thing was like, like this is going to be Apocalypse Now with a giant, ape monkey at its core.
I mean, they had some fun with the helicopters in this thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They really did.
And Sam Jackson's character was basically Captain Ahab.
Yeah.
You know what I want? I just realized it. This is everything that I want in a movie. Is like Tropic Thunder meets monsters.
That would be good.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie's not that funny, but yeah.
That's what I want. No.
I'm the dude pretending to be the dude who's the other dude.
It's a good movie that I hate, but if it was Tropic Thunder meets monsters.
You really hate this movie?
I hate it so much.
Why?
Because it did its job. It made me like hate all these friggin' characters, and it terrified me.
Well, all the humans are the worst people in the world.
Worst.
Yeah.
It's like Brie Larson. There's literally no reason for her to be in this movie.
She's
just
very
a photographer.
pretty and takes pictures.
She just walks around and goes click, click. Ooh.
Go like this.
It's just, I'm going to go right on a boat. Click, 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 click. I'm going to go climb the mountain.
She wasn't awful, nor was
the only purpose she
Loki
had was to get knocked off the mountain so King Kong could reach in.
They needed a blonde-haired girl
pick her up
for him to carry.
And have that one 5-second shot of her.
All of the island people had brown hair. They couldn't use any of them.
Couldn't use them.
Shit, sorry.
I was just waiting for her to call Kong a sexist.
Oh, stop.
You like this blonde?
Me?
No. Brie Larson.
But Brie Larson was such a nothing in this movie.
She didn't need to be in this
you
movie.
guys just love to hate on Brie
I don't.
Larson.
No, I don't. Genuinely, I don't.
What purpose did she serve?
Like the hatred.
She walks into a room and Vader goes, "What purpose do you serve?
You're not
What
wrong.
are you doing here?"
Not wrong.
She was a glorified extra.
She kind of in this movie. She was like, I understand like people have their opinions about Brie Larson, but she doesn't ruin a movie for me. Like if I see her face in a movie, I'm like, oh, whatever. It's just an actress. She's just doing her job. Like on a personal level, I find her grating, but in a movie, it is what it is. I don't really care.
It did not have any problems.
I didn't hate her in this movie.
They needed a blonde-haired girl.
But Vader makes a point. That's literally the only reason why they had to bring her on this mission.
Speaking of blonde-haired girl, so we talked about your love of Godzilla in '98.
Yeah.
When we were talking about Godzilla.
Audrey.
That girl had great hair.
God, she had amazing hair.
Yeah.
But you also love Peter Jackson's King Kong.
I do.
Which had Naomi Watts.
She's amazing.
Yeah, that movie's I got you that poster.
Yeah, you did.
So you love the Peter Jackson version. It's very different from this version.
Oh, it's completely
Which
different.
do you think is better?
Okay, so in better, what do you mean? Like story-wise, or do you mean better as in like...
Yeah, you need to clarify because for
I
Alex,
mean
Alex is
just
like,
better.
Personally, to me, this is what I like, therefore it's better for everyone.
If you're going to go generic, I have to just say like, okay, as far as hearkening back to the original 1933 Godzilla, Peter Jackson's is on point. It's basically a modern remake of that original 1933
Therefore,
movie.
it's a hack.
You mean King Kong?
What did I say?
You said Godzilla.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Fine. My bad. Yeah, King Kong. The original 1933 King Kong movie, black and white, stop motion, all that stuff. Peter Jackson basically just transferred it and made it more modern. So on that scale, if you want to like being true to the original form of King Kong, the Peter Jackson version's better. This one is just a shit ton of fun. Like just fun on your screen.
I totally agree with you, but I still hate it.
She just hates it because it creeped her out.
Yeah, well, that's
so
good though. That's the.
And also, it made me hate Sam Jackson, and I really hate that about myself. That I have that in my heart.
You know what's funny is that all the actors.
Maybe I hate me.
You know, when they were shooting this, like they couldn't picture like the scale of King Kong and all these other monsters, and they the film crew actually developed an app that would do augmented reality stuff so that they could frame shots with the proper scale. So like they'd know how much to pan up to see Kong's face and stuff like that. And so that kind of gave people an idea of, you know, what the monsters, like how big the monsters were going to be.
There's that scene in this movie where the helicopters are going in over the island. And
it's straight out of Apocalypse.
And you see Kong silhouetted against the sun.
Yeah.
And you're like, and there's mountains like next to him, and he's as tall as the mountains, and you're like, holy.
But he's still, even though he's
smaller than he is in the next movie.
Yeah, he's even smaller than Godzilla in this movie.
They have that line that he's still growing. But Alex, did you pick up on the Jurassic Park nod in this movie?
Oh my gosh. No, well, I can't remember.
So
I feel like a failure now.
as they're getting ready to fly into the storm off the boats, Sam Jackson says, "Hold on to your butts."
Hold on to your butts.
Oh, does he? Nice. Right on. Cool.
Which is his line in Jurassic Park.
And Mr. Arnold from Jurassic Park. Okay, so this movie is a ton of fun. I love the creature effects when they go to Skull Island, and it's basically just like the nightmare version of Jurassic Park. Like, what is the worst thing that you could possibly throw at us? And we just have these soldiers, you know, these Vietnam soldiers going through this, you know, tromping through the woods trying to survive. That opening fight scene where Kong finds them. Because they're like Jude's right, they are being complete dicks.
Oh well, they're flying in.
They show up and they just start throwing bombs.
As soon as they break through that storm cloud, they're just like,
yeah.
What are you shooting at?
You are a guest.
Yes, exactly.
Behave.
And then he starts throwing trees at him and stuff.
The tree goes through the chopper. And you're like, oh,
okay.
Got what was coming to you.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love all that. That's so much fun.
And what's interesting is that Kong has a motivation for doing it. It's not just that they're attacking the island. It's that these things that they're dropping are allowing the skull crawlers, is that what they're called?
Yep.
To basically, you know.
Well, he's waking them up.
Yeah, they're waking them up. And Kong's primary goal, like his parents died like fighting like the big skull creature. And so like his job on the island has just been to like control the population of these like skull crawler things, like by going around and killing them. And when they show up and they start dropping these seismic,
Well, they're
like missiles,
bombs.
they're basically like causing a lot more work for him and endangering the island by waking these things
So
up.
he's just all pissed off. And I do have to give this movie a lot of credit too, because as much as Peter Jackson's harkened back to the original, I recently just watched the 1933 King Kong in preparation for this podcast.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, because I kind of wanted to get a feel for where this all came from. And there were actually skull crawlers in the original. It was like a snake with two little arms that was crawling around. It was a real short scene. They weren't massive like they are in this movie, but they were there. And I'm like, oh, that's where they got the
They're
design.
still growing too.
Yeah, that's where they got the design from. It's really cool. It was really nice to see that kind of thing.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah, I love it too. So,
yeah, actually, Hayao Miyazaki, who did like Princess Mononoke and is a very famous animator, he did the designs for the skull crawlers in this movie.
nice. Okay, so you guys have any criticisms towards the movie? I know Jude you're mad that you don't like the humans, because I kind of feel like that's the point.
I'm mad at myself because I have hate in my heart for Sam Jackson.
He's
No,
a douchebag.
I'm mad at the movie for making me hate myself.
Okay, Vader, do you have any criticisms towards this movie?
It's hard to think of criticisms for this movie. I just, like I've said before, and I get flack for it. I have this weird ability to turn my brain off and enjoy these kind of movies. And again, my only criticism would be maybe too many humans. I don't.
I agree.
You guys are hilarious. You puny humans.
Yeah.
Get out of my monster movie.
Yeah, I just want the monsters to do their monster thing, and I feel like the problem with all of these movies is that humans are like, we're gonna get in here and solve this problem that didn't fucking need solving.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I really hate that when it's just like you just created a problem for you to solve.
I mean, I kind of get that they were trying to tell us that we needed to drop these bombs so that we could get the sonic echoes and stuff
For the Hollow Earth
so we
thing.
could prove the Hollow Earth thing.
Yeah.
And all this kind of stuff, and that's fine. That's interesting, and they're setting things up that way, and that's cool. But I don't know. I could watch a movie probably where it's just King Kong's mom and dad fighting the skull crushers.
Yeah, give me that
Give
movie.
you guys a prequel?
Yeah, it's just like,
oh my God, I'm
okay.
gonna cry so much when his parents die.
And it's
and
just
he's
little
alone.
baby Kong.
You know what? I don't want it. Never mind.
Yeah, that would be dope.
She's
I
gonna.
hate having feelings.
What did you guys think about the one of the most subversive deaths in cinema history, where the dude is going to sacrifice himself? The skull crawler's
that
coming,
was great.
and he pulls the grenades, and he's like, "I'm going to take care of this, guys. Don't worry. Get out of here." And he's going to sacrifice himself, and the skull crawler just whaps him with a freaking tail
And disintegrates
and
him.
disintegrates him into the mountain. Like, is that because for me, I laughed because I have like a messed up sense of humor. Did you laugh?
I laughed.
Okay.
I go, this isn't going to end well. It's not going to end well.
Jude, how about you?
I think my exact words were, mm-hmm.
Kadish, what did you think about that moment?
I mean, I don't know. This whole movie, I felt like I remember when I went and saw it in the theater, and I was just like very bored through most of it, and a lot of the action scenes felt very stupid to me. I didn't really care about any of the characters, and I feel like out of all the movies that we watched for this week's podcast, this is my least favorite one. The best part about this movie, though, is John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny because like a lot of his scenes were completely ad-libbed, and he was just saying stuff to try to make the cast laugh.
Yeah.
And it just ended up in the movie.
He's great.
He is great. I love his beard in this movie too.
Yeah.
It's on point.
Daddy.
Big. Jude.
Show up with a beer. I'll go home with
Kadish, why don't you have a giant beard?
it. It's itchy.
It's not itchy though.
No, it doesn't. Look, there's a myth out there, guys, that when you grow a beard, your face itches for like 3 weeks in a row. Bullshit.
There's
You've
product.
been lying to me.
Well, no, at his stage, it can be itchy. But
What is that? A month?
That's I don't know.
He just keeps it there.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to devolve into a beard discussion.
Yes.
We haven't even finished talking about
Well,
this.
he can edit
I
it
know.
out, but there's things like beard oil and beard butter.
I don't use any of that
I'm
stuff.
going to get
Oh,
you some.
Get some
I
beard
do.
oil.
The oil that all
Um,
feels really good. Moisturizes your face,
Mhm.
strengthens your whiskers. Yeah.
Yeah, I want you to have some strong whiskers.
Makes you smell like a man.
I do think that this movie, I do think this movie is more fun to talk about than it is to watch.
Oh,
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I would agree.
I'm
So-
having a much better time in the safety of this conference table talking about it with you than I felt just watching it with Kadish, because Kadish would not tell me anything that was about to happen, and I'm sure I was very annoying, being like, "Oh, is it?
Like she's literally one of those people that if you were in a theater, you'd go get a manager to kick her out. She's being so loud.
That's the worst. So I will say, for my criticism, like of all the nonsense that happens, there is one moment in this movie, probably more than one, but this one is the worst case. Is it takes me out of the movie. Is when Tom Hiddleston goes into like the gaseous smoke when he's fighting the bats with the samurai sword, and he's wearing a face mask, and the camera cuts between what he sees through the goggles versus what is actually happening out, third person. Nonsense. He's like swinging the freaking samurai sword like a freaking Jedi, like cutting bats in half, and I'm like,
Oh, and he got the sword thrown to him, right?
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
Catches it like a boss. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
I'm like, that would never happen. Looking through the
Oh,
goggles,
for sure.
he can't see shit.
Yeah.
So there's no way that that's happening. But
Yeah.
that was the only thing that really like took me out of the movie as like,
There-
oh my god, here's the slow motion freaking Zack Snyder-esque, 300 thing going on.
There is
John
one.
Woo.
There is
Yeah.
one thing that I do kind of want to do is I want to go through the movie and I want to go back and see how many helicopters took off from the ship
Mm.
versus how many actually died, or actually because I think there's way more helicopters that get shot down than actually take off from the ship.
Well, it's funny because like the ships that they go in on,
There's only one.
there's more than one ship.
No,
isn't
there's
there?
only one
There's only
ship.
one ship.
Yeah.
There's like 12
Well,
helicopters
there's like
Can we
20
talk about
helicopters.
how John C. Riley built a boat out of like
out of an airplane.
discarded plane parts?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That guy's great.
That's some MacGyver shit.
You know
right there.
what? If I'm gonna crash on an island, I fucking hope he's there.
John C. Riley.
Yeah.
That would
With
be
that
pretty fun.
daddy beard. Mm.
Okay.
I won't be lonely.
You've had enough. Okay.
We're cutting you off, Jude. Enough booze.
You're getting too
Brr.
weird about beards. And
Kate, it
John C.
just seems
Reilly.
like you're not as high on this movie as the rest of us. What's the
Are
deal?
you jealous, babe?
No, I'm not jealous.
What's the deal? How come? What is it about this movie that you don't connect with? Like you're not like into it as much as we are.
I don't know. I didn't think that the script was very good. I didn't care about any of the characters. I felt like a lot of it's your typical, oh, I have an idea for a set piece, and
Mhm.
so we're just going to make excuses to get to the next set piece type thing.
Well,
But I mean, like, I'm a little bit more lenient with movies like these in the sense that like the purpose of them is to see like King Kong fight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I don't really, I'm not too critical about the story because all the stories in these movies are bad. It's just that there's varying levels of like fun to distract you from how bad they are. I feel like this was the least fun movie.
I get a kick out of people online and on the websites and Twitter and stuff that are so hypercritical
Sean.
about. Well, I wasn't going to say his name, but he's not the only one.
No, he's a big time.
Who are like so into, the scripts and the writing and all this kind of stuff in a big budget
Mhm.
monster fight movie. It's like, come on, man. It's just, it's funny. I don't get it.
No, shout out to Sean. He's a great guy, and he has his own comic book series, Smacked in the Head. Go check it out. You can find it online. Follow him on Twitter and stuff. He's a good guy, but he was like hypercritical of these movies. And it's fun though, because I love like talking about it with him because he's not wrong. Like
No,
if Kadish,
he's totally not wrong.
if Kadish went full bore on these and like
Oh.
full critical thinking,
And I would again tell him that he's being stupid.
You
He
can
shut the fuck up and
rip
watch a
these.
monster movie.
You can rip these movies apart piece by piece, but we don't because we're like we know what we're in for, and they're supposed to be fun, and that's what it is. Okay, so I guess final thoughts on Kong Skull Island. You guys
we
have
gotta rate it.
final thoughts, rating,
yeah.
favorite moments. Is there anything in this movie that really like just like I freaking love it for this one thing?
I've always kind of liked the helicopter scene where it comes in on the island with the apocalypse now kind of stuff.
Yeah,
That's always really super fun. And you know, we kind of touched on the one scene where the guy gets smacked into the mountain, and you know, just stuff like that. It's just it all just kind of adds up to a fun monster movie. And am I saying that right? Monster. My wife always gives me
Munster is a cheese.
My wife always gives me a bad time because I can't say the word right.
That's okay. Kate just can't say any words.
But
right.
That's true.
It's just I don't know. I enjoy these movies.
Brain off.
Yeah, you know, I'd probably give this one a 3.
Okay, so you gave the first one a 3.5. 3.5.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So it's less than the first
Yeah.
Godzilla, but still good.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's not quite the spectacle
Mm-hmm.
in this one as there was in the other one, as far as Godzilla being so impressive. But you know, this is still King Kong, and it's still pretty fun. And it is what it is, man. It's just a good time.
Do you have a favorite moment?
No, not really.
Not really.
Okay. I don't know. I just enjoy the movie.
Okay, cool. Jude, final thoughts, rating, favorite moments. What do you got?
Well, I feel so torn now because I've had so much fun talking about it with you guys, but I legit hated it. Like, I think I said it half a dozen times while we were watching this. I hate this movie.
She didn't say it. She screamed it right in my ear.
Calm down. He's so delicate.
Calm down.
Excuse me. So I feel a bit torn about rating it because, like, for me, while I was watching it, I hated it. But like talking about it has been so much fun. Like, it was more fun talking about this than it was about the movie that I actually liked more. So I'm gonna split the difference and say it is a 2.5 helicopters for me. I did not love it. I might want to watch it again just to see if I still hate it.
Okay.
But I think my favorite moment, and you guys are totally gonna roll your eyes at me, and that's fine. But like, I was waiting for that classic King Kong moment with his connection. What? Why are
Sorry.
you laughing at me?
No, we're distracted at because King Kong just ate a guy, and it's smash cut to a dude eating a sandwich.
Oh.
So
I
ridiculous.
thought you were laughing at me.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
So we're actually watching the movie as we're discussing it.
Yeah.
So I was waiting for that classic like callback to the old King Kong movies. So like when he picked up Brie Larson in his hand, I was like, oh, blonde girl in the hand.
Yeah.
Check.
King Kong.
Yeah. So
Like,
I
there was
I
a
dug
reason
that.
to have her in the movie.
Yeah. Right on. Kadish, what about you? Final thoughts, give it a rating, all that stuff.
So visually, this movie is very stunning. It's got some great imagery to it. The actors are all very talented, even though I don't think the script's very good. Like I said, this was my least favorite of the monster movies that we watched, this week. And favorite moments, I think number one is when Kong just ate that octopus that attacked him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was gross.
What a boss move, too. Just like slurps it like a spaghetti noodle.
Yeah, it's like little calamari there. And also the end credit scene where they kind of set up the Monsterverse going forward. I really enjoyed that. But overall, like I don't feel like this was a very well told story, and I don't feel like the monster fights had the kind of impact I would have liked. Like with the Godzilla movies, I always felt like there was something at stake with the monster fights, whereas with this one, I just didn't care about the outcome. So I would give this like 2 daddy beards out of 5.
Nice. For me,
Wait. Are there 5 daddy beards?
There's as many as you want, babe.
You guys need to settle down.
Jude's surrounded by men with beards right now.
Oh my God.
Who's got the best beard out of the 3 of us?
Oh, stop.
Well, we all know the answer to that.
I'm the best beard.
Okay. For me, this was a ton of fun. It was a turn my brain off thing. I do love the 70s, feel to it with the helicopters and the whole vibe of like the 1970s Vietnam. What's up?
I forgot to say that when I was giving my final thoughts. Is just like I love the soundtrack so much.
Yeah. Soundtrack's on point. The characters, take them or leave them. I don't think any of them are particularly memorable. I think they're memorable more for the actors who portray them. Like John Goodman's character. I don't even remember the guy's name, but I know John Goodman was in this movie.
That Monarch guy.
Yeah, the Monarch guy. Same with Sam Jackson.
Yeah, you can't tell me the name of any of the characters. It's
Right.
always like the actor who's playing.
Yeah, like I don't even know.
Loki,
Yeah,
Captain Marvel, Nick Fury.
Yeah. Yeah, like the cast is on point, but I have no idea who any of these characters are. So on that, I think it is a bit of a failure. The characters don't have anything really to offer to the movie itself, but I just love the spectacle. My favorite moment, which is probably Jude's least favorite moment, is the
Is the terrifying spider monsters?
the bamboo spider monsters,
I
where
like them.
they're all just walking through this bamboo forest, and all of a
Just
sudden,
minding their own business, but they're fucking terrifying.
all of a sudden, some poor bastard that's drinking his canteen just gets impaled
I
right
don't
down
like
the
it.
middle. He's just sitting there, and I'm like, oh
and he's
god,
like stuck.
Yeah.
And there's a fucking leg through it. I don't like it.
I love it, dude. That was awesome. And they look up and they just see like the outline of a spider body, and it's just like walking around. God, it was so good. I
think
love
I
it.
just realized why I've been sleeping so bad this week.
I love it when movies go full like creepy freaking monster stuff.
Full creepazoid.
No,
I
don't
was gonna say,
dare.
oh, do you want to talk about
No,
Creepazoids?
no.
I'm just gonna watch the movie. You guys.
How's your bursitis?
God, don't ever watch that movie, guys. It's awful.
Ow, my bursitis.
All right.
That movie's great.
It is a ton of fun. Would you guys recommend people go watch this movie?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
you should watch it.
Okay. Kadish?
Just- oh God, it's so terrifying. I don't like spiders.
If this were a standalone, I wouldn't recommend it. But because it's part of the Monsterverse,
Yeah.
I would say if you're watching Monsterverse, the Legendary Monsterverse movies, yeah.
You
watch it.
have to.
Right on. I'd recommend it too. Even if it's not a great movie, but it is a ton of fun.
So what? Just a little bit of a tangent here. What's grosser to you, the spider scene in this movie, or the Bug Valley scene in the Peter Jackson King Kong movie? Because that Peter Jackson Bug movie,
I haven't watched that one for a while.
Listen,
Oh, okay.
I can't watch that scene.
When
Really?
when Andy
is-
Serkis
it is-
gets freaking
yeah.
sucked on by a leech,
It
he's
is
like,
so gross to me that
Yeah.
I fast forward through that
really?
every time.
No
I
way.
can't watch it.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was just curious.
Speaking of Andy Serkis, he's the one who consulted on the movement for the MUTOS in Godzilla.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
He was the one who developed their
You mean the
walk
bat
and
spider
stuff.
crabs?
Yeah.
Yeah. The bat rat spider crabs.
There's no rat
They're
in them,
MUTOs.
really.
No.
It's just bat spider crab.
I got you.
Yeah.
Cool.
they're roaches.
All right, guys, that's it for our discussion of Kong Skull Island. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about Godzilla, the King of the Monsters. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you'd like to chat with the Salty Nerd crew, we have a Discord server that is available for you guys to hop onto. Go into the description of this video below. There is a link to our Discord app where we hang out. We talk about movies. You guys can post pictures, post links to other podcasts or other videos that you want us to watch. We can hang out, chat about nerd stuff, and have a good time. It's a new app that we're trying to push a little bit farther because I think we're all pretty much fed up with Twitter. So if there's an alternative to Twitter, it would be Discord, and that's where we want to hang out more often and have a good time without the nonsense that Twitter offers these days and their, censorship.
Stuff.
Wow. Don't go there anymore. Yeah, go to our Discord chat and hang out with us. And we, every once in a while, if I have extra time on my hands during the week, I do watch parties. We watched Norseman the other night. We watched like 3 or 4 episodes of that show with,
that was fun.
with a couple of our Patreons. It was a ton of fun. We had a great time. So hop over there to our Discord, follow the link below, and you can hang out.
Anyone challenge anyone to a home game?
No, but we did have a ton of fun though. Haas from Australia hopped in there.
I mean, I'm just following the rules,
Yeah,
The
you're
rules
for
are the
the-
rules.
Because that's how the rules are, isn't it, Olav? Chief Olav?
That's right, what you say there.
It is what it is. That
I-
hairstyle really.
I'd be stupid not to.
But I have created all of this myself.
Yeah. And I really respect you for that.
And I really respect it.
I really respect you for that, but we are going to also saltynerdvideo.com. We do our weekly home gang here at 10:30 a.m. I'm not part of it because I have a job, but the rest of these lazy bums do.
I have a job.
I have a job.
I'm kidding.
I have a job.
It was
too.
a joke.
All of us have
saltynerdvideo.com.
jobs.
Is this not a
which is
job?
why we need patrons so that we can quit our jobs and do this full time.
That's very
Hell
true.
yeah, saltynerdclub.com.
All
Go
this
there.
time, I thought people were paying me to drink.
You're wrong.
As the ices
Oh, is
go
that you?
clink, clink, clink.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I'm empty. Okay, guys, let's talk about Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Charles Dance is in this movie. He's so badass.
He's badass in every movie.
I know. All right, Jude, take it away. What is this movie all about?
2019, Godzilla, King of Monsters, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 2 hours and 12 minutes. Had a budget of $170 million. What do you think, boys?
Okay, so the first one made like 500. The second one made $500,000. I'm gonna say this is on point. 450 million.
Vader?
510.
386.6.
This was the best one.
Yeah, this one was a real kind of. It didn't bomb at the box office, but it came in way under expectation.
I don't understand why. I had so much fun with this
Well,
one.
let me take you through the synopsis and maybe it'll make sense.
Go ahead, Jude.
Shortly after giving birth to Mothra, the chick from all those exorcism movies and 11 from Stranger Things get abducted by Tywin Lannister for their monster communicator device. Coach Taylor from Friday Night Lights comes to the rescue, but before he can save his family, a three-headed dragon picks a fight, and an epic monster battle royale commences in the snowy tundra of somewhere in the Arctic. Then a volcano bird swoops down from the sky, killing everyone who's in a plane, while Ice-T's son is rescuing civilians.
I fucking hate you.
Every and all monsters are wreaking havoc on Earth. I'm not done. Please allow me to finish speaking, sir.
You're going to talk about 11 and using her superpowers pretty soon?
Every and all monsters are wreaking havoc on Earth, and our only hope is that an alpha named Gojira will rise from the depths of the ocean after the humans tried to kill him and save us. This synopsis does not do the movie justice.
The three-headed dragon and the volcano bird.
It's a volcano bird. If you didn't know what its name was, you would say, that's a volcano bird.
You're not wrong.
No, I'm not.
It's Rodan.
These are some of my best synopses.
These are great. Tywin Lannister kidnaps Elle.
Oh, he's going to have a field day trying to do the references when he does the video. God damn it,
That's
Jude.
what you're doing.
Tywin Lannister.
You're screwing with
11.
Oh, my cheeks hurt. Okay.
That girl was in so many exorcism movies.
This lady, the mom?
Yeah.
Vera Farmiga.
Farmiga, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. That's cool. I don't watch exorcist movies. So I didn't know.
Annabelle and all that stuff.
Okay. All right. So opening thoughts. For me, this is my favorite. The freaking fight scenes are on point. I love them. They're so much fun. Godzilla versus every badass monster out there. So awesome. Oh my God. Give me more. It was great. I had a ton of fun. I'm with V on this one. I don't give a crap about any of these characters.
Nope.
I do like Millie Bobby Brown. I think she's cool. I think she's a nice, well-rounded, up-and-coming actress.
Uh-huh.
So when she's on screen, it doesn't bother me. Her motivation's a little weird. Her, mom and dad fighting.
That she had to save the day.
Yeah, very strange,
Yeah.
but I didn't mind it.
I minded.
Again, Monarch is like this thread that goes through all these movies.
Well, now Monarch, though, at this point, they're big. They're big time.
Mhm.
They got funding now.
They got secret bases all over the world. They got giant skyscraper-sized planes that fly around with,
thing
some shield-looking stuff.
They got monster communicator devices and giant cocoons where they're birthing Mothras.
Yeah. This is the movie where things start to go a little bit off
This
the
is
rails.
this is where the sci-fi element starts coming in a little
And
bit.
I love every second of it.
I do too.
It's just like, so they got this thing that modulates noises, and
The Orca? They call it the Orca,
no, that's
right?
the name of the plane. The Orca is the plane base.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so. And I don't know. It doesn't
I
matter.
thought it was the device.
Yeah, it's the device.
Okay, is it the device?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, because Orca is like echolocation. Orca, it's a reference to
whatever.
whales.
They got this thing, and it does some stuff.
They got this
and
thing.
it makes the monsters go crazy or calm them down, or it tracks them.
It communicates with them.
Mhm.
It gives them instructions.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's a nice plot device.
Did you enjoy this movie?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
More than the other ones? Or give me your opening thoughts.
Do you guys remember the three of us went and saw this together in the theaters when it came out?
We did?
We did?
Yeah, you guys don't remember that? All three of us, we went to the theater.
Your time together meant nothing.
I know. I now feel kind of sad.
Oh.
Dude, it's been a long year.
What year did this come out?
2019.
19.
Yeah.
So it was like when we first started the podcast, huh?
Yeah.
Did we do a review on it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't know.
I don't
I
remember.
think you just hung out for fun. Oh, remember when we used to do that?
Yeah. Remember when we used to hang out and not drink?
Yeah.
Well, I just remember Vader was really excited about this movie,
Mhm.
and so like we all just decided to go see it when it came out, and it was I think it was a June or July release.
Right
Like
on.
that, so we went and saw it at Galaxy Theaters over the summer.
Shout out to Galaxy Theaters.
Shout out to Galaxy.
Opening thoughts. What did you think? You love it?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I love
I
it.
think I asked you that already.
Yeah.
That's okay. Jude, what about you? How do you feel about this movie?
I feel the same way about this movie that I feel about Kong Skull Island.
You
Is
hate
that-
it?
No.
Oh.
I don't hate it, but I hate all the humans. Like, I just want zero humans. I don't want this storyline where I lost a child. I'm not going to lose another one. And it doesn't matter. And then 11 saves the day. And then Coach Taylor and Vera Farmiga. And she's like, oh, I'm going to sacrifice myself. And she didn't fucking need to. And the whole time I was just like, you dumb bitch. Just fucking drop the device and get on the plane.
Jude's been drinking today.
How dare you?
She can hold her liquor better than any of us.
Right. I have a pure thought and feeling.
So-
Like she's drunk.
So the human element.
I didn't want it. I didn't need it,
Okay.
and there was too much of it for me. And I like Millie Bobby Brown also, but her character just kind of annoyed me. I don't know, maybe you're rubbing off on me, Alex, because I'm like, oh, the kid had to save the day. She had to go steal the device and go to Fenway Park and like outsmart Tywin Lannister. Do you know how many wars that guy's won?
Yeah.
So I didn't want that. And every time like I had to like watch the whole human element and all of this stuff and the family and blah, blah, blah. I was just like, give me more monsters.
I think this is the point in this series where the humans started becoming more
Annoying.
and more kind of caricature-ish.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, okay, well, you know, you got this person that does this, blah blah blah. It's like nobody cares.
You know, it's
You know, and they had Millie Bobby Brown in here because, you know, she was hot off Stranger Things, and so she
Mhm.
was a box office draw. Let's throw her in there a little bit, and Coach Taylor, and yeah, I mean, it's just
Tywin Lannister.
yeah. These are all
You remember? It was funny in all
these people are here for specific reasons.
right off of Lord of the Rings, right off of Game of Thrones. Charles Dance's character was in this movie, and in every single one of the trailers that was out for this, he said, "Long live the king." And I'm like, oh, Game of Thrones. Candice, what did you think about this movie? Opening thoughts.
So, I know that this movie gets a lot of criticism as being the worst of the MonsterVerse. Personally, this is my favorite.
Oh wow.
Simply because it has the most monsters, it has the most monster fights. The guy who directed this movie, and I think he also did some writing for it, his name's Michael Dougherty, and you might recognize him as the writer and director of Krampus, which is an excellent movie.
Oh, we love that movie.
Yeah.
Nice.
So basically, the same guy who did Krampus did this movie, and you know, like I know that there's been some criticism out there about how like the atmospheric effects, like the wind and the rain and the clouds and stuff like that, that obscure a lot of the fighting, makes the visuals kind of muddy and things like that. But I actually think that out of all the movies, which all have strong visuals, this movie has some of the most iconic, like epic monster shots.
When the lightning strikes and all you see is the outline of the it's like, oh dude, show me that.
Yeah, but like even at the end when Ghidorah, is that how you pronounce it?
I think so.
King Ghidorah, yeah, something like that.
So when Ghidorah like hits like the power substation, he just like electrifies the sky.
Oh, that was
and stuff like
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's so many like iconic things, like when Ghidorah rises up from the ice and things like of that nature. It's beautiful. But the story itself is dumb as fuck. like it's really, really bad.
I mean, we're getting into Toho Godzilla kind
Yeah.
of territory.
But the thing is like the monster fights that break up the story are so entertaining that you just don't care.
Yeah.
Because you just realize like you can turn your brain off and just be like, okay, like this is what it is. And I'm like, how long until the next monster fight?
It is what it is, and I'll take it.
I will say though, like even though I don't care about any of these human characters, I do think that they did a good job of coming up with reasons why these characters are following the fight. Because that's the biggest thing is like in the first movie when Elizabeth Olsen's character was like always somehow in the middle of the fight along with her husband. They're like, why? Just run away.
He was the only one who could defuse that.
Yeah,
bomb.
bullshit. No, like these ones, it actually comes up with a reason. Okay, Charles Dance has a reason for following these monsters around because he has this motivation to go.
I think like the biggest issue I have with this movie is the motivation for the bad guys, where Vera Farmiga's character, basically she's like, oh, we're going to use this to unleash the Titans so we can reset the Earth for environmental reasons. and I'm like, that's the dumbest idea for like saving the planet.
We're going to kill millions of.
I love that.
You know what? Those solar panels really aren't doing what we thought.
We're
So let's unleash the Titans.
We're going to murder billions of people so that the ones that are left can have a great life.
Thanos.
Just the thought that this doctor thinks that they could actually control these creatures.
Yeah.
You know, that just pushes the limits of credibility. And it's very similar to the military's, oh, let's just nuke them.
Well,
we know they feed off of radiation.
They had some special kind of nuke in this movie, right? Where it was like,
no, it was an oxygen bomb.
Oxygen deprivation bomb. Basically just wouldn't allow anything to breathe, which again is like.
It ignited the oxygen, I think.
I was like, did they just kill everything in the ocean?
So
that one area.
The oxygen bomb isn't nuclear, but it has just as big of a blast because it ignites the oxygen in the area.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's nonsense. But
I probably would have been one of the bad guys in the real world.
I'm always rooting for the bad guys.
So there's one thing, again, we kind of talked about like the use of scale. Gareth Edwards did it very much like on the ground looking up at Godzilla and stuff like that. And this movie, they couldn't do that because there's so many monsters and there's so many fight scenes. But what they did do, there's one scene that really caught my attention is when the volcano bird, Rodan.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
was flying out of the volcano and he basically just nukes this town.
Well, when he pops the cap off and he climbs out of the volcano.
Yeah.
And spreads his wings out, and you're like, he is monstrous.
It's huge.
It was like when Khaleesi went into the fire, came out with all them dragons.
And it was cool, like when Rodan flies over the city, in his wake there's so much heat that it just burns everything.
Yeah,
in his
yeah.
wake.
He nukes the city. Yeah. But then again, when they do the scale, he flies into that cloud where the dragon, the dragon's name is
Ghidorah.
When King Ghidorah makes the freaking volcano bird look tiny. You know, he opens his wings and you see all three heads.
And Ice Cube's son is just there like holding on to people as Rodan flies overhead.
It was good. Dude, some of the best freaking scenes when the fighter jets are fighting up against the bird and it's like freaking looking at it through the little eyeglass.
He does his little spin.
Yeah, it does a little spin and takes them all out. It's so freaking fun.
Dude, what about that part when Mothra just shanks Rodan?
Oh yeah, and he stabs it with the stinger. She stabs it with the stinger. There's so much fun to be out of these movies, man.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Bradley Whitford, when he like gets his theory about the Hollow Earth, confirmed, where he's like, I knew it.
Oh, that's okay. If we're gonna be on, that's a great segue. That's my favorite freaking thing. Out of all these movies,
I think mine too.
When they go down in the submarine. Into the Hollow Earth, and you see like these ancient ruins of like Atlantis and all this cool freaking conspiracy theory stuff. I'm like a kid in a candy shop, dude. I love that stuff, and I really wish, like, one of my biggest criticisms of the newest movie that just came out is that they didn't really pay that off as much as I wanted them to. But the human element of having them like worship these titans,
it's so cool. It is kind of interesting that you get the sense that Godzilla's been at this for so long that at one point early humans did worship him. And, you know, in the first Godzilla movie, they talk about how, or even in this movie, they talk about how Godzilla is not our pet, we're his.
Yeah.
And you get the sense like this is why Godzilla protects us and doesn't like come after humans is because like we're like they're his cute little pet that he that, you know, for centuries, like they worshipped and adored him. And they kind of lean into that a little bit in Godzilla versus Kong. They don't really explicitly tell you anything, but it's kind of like they're in the background.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was kind of like, when they go into like the Hollow Earth and underground layer, I was like, that really could have been explained better. You know?
But we'll get there in a minute.
Visually, it was amazing. Okay, so Vader, favorite moments in this movie? Do you have a favorite fight scene?
I don't
Just the whole thing is good.
This movie's just a lot of fun. I don't even know if I'm really good to talk about these movies because I enjoy all of them.
Yeah, we're better about talking about stuff we hate.
Yeah, we really are. You know, the scale of the fights. You know how they just destroy these cities. It's incredible.
Oh yeah,
to me.
Cyborg's dad and Miles Dyson are in this movie too, aren't they? They're like,
yeah, I think they are.
I kept being like, why do I know that guy?
Jude,
I love the absurdity of these things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the scale, the millions of people that are dying that just they don't even matter. You know,
yeah.
I'm surprised they even get away with making these movies today because people would get upset about.
Oh my God! Remember how upset people with Man of Steel because he destroyed 8 blocks out of a city.
That was Superman though. Like these monsters, that's what they do is they destroy cities, and also like we were very happy to get to see Las Vegas destroyed in the first Godzilla. I was very happy to get to see Boston destroyed because I used to live there.
Oh yeah, you hate Boston.
Yeah. I do not like Boston. And I think there's even a line, I think Bradley Whitford says it, where he's like, it's not a good day to be a Red Sox fan. I'm like, it's never a good day to be a Red Sox fan.
Jude, do you have any final thoughts or things that really just draw you to this movie? Is this where would you put this on the 3 that we watched this week?
I put this for my second favorite because I really hated the experience of watching Kong. Excuse me, sorry. Talking about it was way more fun than watching it. It was terrifying. But I loved all of the monsters in this. Like before we start, like I've never seen it before, so this is a first watch for all 3 movies from me.
Oh, nice.
So when we were about to turn it on, Kadish had the back doors open and it was nighttime, and I made a joke. Because like there's always like bugs that will fly in from the backyard. I was like, fucking Mothra's gonna end up in here. And then like 10 minutes later, I was like, Mothra! and then I got dragons and I was like smacking Kadish. I was like, dragons! I loved all of the monsters. That's awesome. Hate all the humans.
Yeah.
I loved how in this movie that they tried to touch on all of the big classic Toho monsters, kind of reimagined them a little bit, made them cooler. And Mothra and Rodan.
And I loved like the little touches. Like I got a volcano bird, not just a giant vulture. I got a volcano bird. It was like on fire. And then I got an electricity dragon. So cool. and like I get a big nerd boner for like anything like history and ancient. So like when I got to see all of like the ancient ruins, and oh God, that was so cool. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. Kadish, how about you? Do you have any favorite moments out of this movie?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of favorite moments, but I find it interesting that this is the first Monsterverse movie without any Marvel actors in it. And originally, they were going to bring back Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yes,
did I get that right?
Very good.
Okay. Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen.
When you say something right, I doubt myself.
But they were going to bring them back for this movie.
I wish they had.
Well, they tried to, but they were busy shooting, Avengers.
A brother and sister scene?
Yes. Exactly. And basically like they had other commitments, so they weren't able to come back. And so they were like, we're just going to go with like all new characters. But the one character that they did bring back was Ken Watanabe's character, and he goes out like a boss. And I think that's one of my favorite scenes is where basically he sacrifices himself to save Godzilla. And throughout, the previous movie and this one, he's always the guy who's been like in Godzilla's corner where he's like, this is something that, we need to protect and preserve and get on our side. And just that moment where like he reaches up and he like touches Godzilla's,
snout
for like, he makes contact with him for the first time. And then like the bomb just blows up. It's such a poignant scene for me because like Watanabe is such a great actor that you can just tell that like, he realizes what he's sacrificing. He takes off his radiation suit and stuff like that. And there's just that weird little intimate moment between him and Godzilla before he dies. That's very poignant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably my biggest criticism about this movie is the waste of Charles Dance, though. Like you have Charles Dance in your movie, freaking give the guy something to do. like he fell asleep during the premiere of this movie because he was so bored.
Did he really?
And that's one of the reasons he didn't come back was he just wasn't passionate about the character, I think.
Oh man, what a bummer. Yeah, I do think like on a whole, for the Legendary Monster universe, they did make a mistake in not having a single through character for all the movies that we could follow. Like, even if it was like if we had a younger version of like somebody in the Kong Skull Island, because it took place in the 70s, if that's where it started, and then we get to see him in 2014 with Godzilla, and then forward again in King of the Monsters, like, and then continue on, like, it would be somebody that we could invest in, even if the human element of these movies is like second tier, like, who cares? Let's watch the dinosaurs fight. It's still cool to have at least one character that we can kind of follow.
And they also, the producers tried to get Gareth Edwards to come back for this one, but he had just come off of Rogue One, and he was like, I don't want to do another big movie. I want to kind of get back to smaller films.
Oh yeah, I don't want to do another big movie.
Come on, Gareth. It's not Disney. You're safe, man. Come on back. Come on.
I don't like being successful, you guys.
No, he just wants to do indie movies.
But they had like a writer's room of like 10 to 12 writers coming up with ideas for this movie. And they only had enough money in the budget to license a couple of the Toho monsters. So like, you had Rodan, you had Mothra, you had Ghidorah, but all the rest they like came up with as original creatures, so they wouldn't have to pay for the licensing, and that way they could spend more money on the special effects.
Giant Turtle Mountain thing.
I did lose my mind when after that fantastic setup. This is a setup and payoff that I really love. Is when what's the character's name? The one you were just talking about that sacrificed himself.
So his name is Dr. Ishiro Serizawa.
That guy, when he sacrifices himself to save Godzilla, and Godzilla comes back for the final battle, and he's gone
super juiced,
freaking just, and he's glowing, and he's ready. He's just like, I'm gonna wipe you off the face of this planet, and the freaking, it was just so awesome, dude. And
like the final battle in this. So like the two big set pieces I thought were really good were the Antarctic fight, where we first see Ghidorah. And then the Boston fight, where Godzilla and Ghidorah have like their final showdown. And, like one of the things that I really hate in movies is when a character gets knocked out and then like they wake up and all the action's over. Like they're in like a different scene, they're recovering. And in this movie in the Antarctic, so like you have this huge fight between Godzilla and Ghidorah, and Friday Night Lights guy gets knocked out. And then all of a sudden he's like on the ship, and he just like they're like, oh, it's a good thing we got you out of there. it's like, dude, like you're not going to show us like how that happened.
It doesn't matter.
It's like he magically teleported there after he got knocked out, and that's like a big pet peeve of mine for certain types of movies, and it's also a sign of bad writing because the writers get into a situation where they don't know how to get the character out of, so they're like, let's just knock him out, and like
somebody picked him up, threw him on the ship.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And there is a lot of like logic leaps in this where, Jude mentioned how at the end of the movie, she could have easily just like put the orca in a car and put it on auto drive and drive away, hop on the plane. But she chooses to drive it off because like they wanted to.
She could have just set it down. You're getting on a plane and flying away.
Yeah, but I mean, like the whole point of that was to redeem her character.
Yeah,
they would have just arrested her and put her in jail for the rest of her life anyway.
But also like Millie Bobby Brown's character, so she's on board with her mother's stupid plan to like fix the Earth.
Well, she's a dumb kid.
Well, she is, but I mean, at the beginning, when Charles Dance people come in and basically murder everyone that she's been working with for months and like that she's friends with and that she knows,
and then she's all of a sudden on board with him.
Yeah, that she's still on board. I mean, like you'd have think that they'd have popped in like knockout gas or something to like spare the lives of these people. They just brutally murder them in front of Millie Bobby Brown, and she still's like, oh, we're doing the right thing.
Like, do you guys understand? She's coming back for the next movie, and I mean, she's gonna kill you. Shouldn't have let her see that.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of questionable story decisions in this, and like the whole thing with Friday Night Lights guy is that he
Coach Tyler.
He was also in the Peter Jackson King Kong movie.
Texas Forever.
Okay, well, whatever. Coach Taylor. So like, he lost a kid to Godzilla in the first film because they were in San Francisco, and basically his youngest son got killed in the during the fight.
Yeah,
and so he, like his first inclination is like, kill Godzilla, kill all of them,
kill all these things.
And then like throughout the movie, he comes to realize like, oh, we need Godzilla. And there's a couple scenes in this movie where he comes face to face with Godzilla, and he at first like he's like afraid of him and he still sees him with fear, and then the second time he's like, okay, like, now I realize what, Dr. Serizawa saw in this guy, and we need him. And so like there's
he gives him like the Jeremiah Johnson nod.
Yeah. And so like, that was a good arc. And then he has like nothing to do in Godzilla versus Kong.
No, nothing.
For sure.
Nothing to do in that movie. No, this was the humans. Again, I'm kind of with you guys. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't hate any of them.
Yeah, give me 2 hours of Godzilla and Ghidorah fighting.
But these freaking fight scenes are so fun.
Yeah.
And I just, and this, again, the sound design, just like Gareth Edwards, when Godzilla goes freaking Super Saiyan, and it's just like the vibration of that like freaking sound effect when you're sitting in the theaters. It's incredible, dude. I'm all for it, man. The spectacle is amazing. All right, let's. Did you guys give it a rating already? Out of the 3 we watched, or out of this trilogy, where do you put this one?
I'm gonna give it the same score as the first one, a 3.5. But I think I like this one a little bit more, simply because there's just more fun to be had.
Mm-hmm. More wide shot fight scenes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There's more memeing and destruction going on. So.
Jude, how about you? Out of the 3.
Out of the 3, I like the first one the best.
Okay.
There was less in that one that annoyed me. Like the humans annoyed me more in this one than it did in the first one. But I loved all of the monsters. Like every time a new monster got introduced, I didn't know what to expect. So every time I got a new monster, I was like, oh shit. And I was very, very excited for it. I love all of the monster fights. And so I guess I'll give it a 3 electricity dragons.
You're gonna get so much hate for people.
Why?
Electricity dragon.
I liked it.
And firebirds.
It got all juiced up with the electricity.
Volcano bird.
It's an electricity dragon.
Candice, out of the 3, which one is your favorite? Or where does this rank?
Definitely this one. I give this one, probably 3.5 volcano birds. Like I just, like I said, I can understand the criticisms of this movie and, why people would think that this was their least favorite of the 3. But I don't know. There's just something about this movie that I really enjoy. And so I rate this the top of the 3 that we watched this week.
Right on.
It's like, I understand all the criticisms people have,
Oh, yeah.
but they're not necessary.
Or-
They're
yeah.
really not.
As a podcast, I think we could all say, like, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
No, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're going into these movies for.
But you don't go into these movies thinking you're going to grade them on a critical movie
I mean, there's
scale.
some movies that are bad, so bad that they ruin your enjoyment of the movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there are some movies that are bad, but you don't care because they're enjoyable.
Right.
And I think these definitely fall into that category where it's like they're just so enjoyable that like you don't care that the story's stupid or that there are plot logic issues or anything like that. So like I said at the beginning of this thing, like I'm way more forgiving on these movies than I normally would be, simply because these movies know that people just want to see these big monsters fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when they do an excellent job of showing that.
And I don't even think they're hurting the legacy of where these characters come from, because
Not at
those
all.
old movies are ridiculous.
Yeah.
So ridiculous that like these movies are better in comparison as far as like story and plot lines. Like I just watched the old 70s Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla one, and like literally the aliens, like space aliens created Mechagodzilla, and they were all Japanese and
Yeah,
they
they
spoke
go
Japanese.
off the rails.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's like a flying turtle at one point. Like, don't worry about
It's
it.
like, I
Just
want-
have fun.
It kind of sets the stage for like the level of realism.
Yeah.
Like, you're going into this being like, listen, suspend that
Yeah.
and just enjoy it for what it is.
Give me more. Give me more.
Leave your brain at the door and enjoy the show. All right, guys, that's our discussion for the Legendary Monster Movies. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We will be dropping our review of Godzilla versus Kong coming up soon, or maybe before that. I don't know. We're going to drop it at some point in time, so look forward to that as well. And where can we find everybody on the socials? Matt Vader, where can they find you at?
Oh, you can find me at MattVader74 on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Yeah.
Right on. Jude, where can they find you?
You can find me swooping down from the sky on a volcano bird. Or at I am Juju on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Right on. Matthew Kadish.
You can find me charred to a crisp after Gene swoops on by. At Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter, and kadishbooks.com over on Amazon.
You can find me on Twitter at salty_nerd. I don't have any fancy monster references. I don't know. With Atomic Breath on Twitter at salty_nerd. Tune in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let us know what you thought of these movies. We love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you're listening to this on the audio platforms only, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, saltynerdvideo.com. There you can get access to a bunch of cool stuff that we don't do the audio only versions of. We got trailer reactions and debates and all kinds of cool stuff. So, all right, guys, stay salty.